I want you to just close your eyes for a second and reconstruct a scene with me.
Okay.
It's 1446 BC. You're standing at the base of this jagged granite mountain out in the wilderness.
Mount Sinai.
Exactly. And the atmosphere isn't just tense, it's like crushing. The sky is pitch black, swirling with this thick darkness, but it keeps flashing with lightning that just blinds you.
And the sound. It's more than just thunder. It's a vibration that you feel in your bones. It's pure terror.
It is the absolute definition of terror. The whole setup is like a horror movie. But then, and this is the part that, usually gets left on the cutting room floor, the camera zooms in.
Right.
And way up there on the side of this lethal mountain, you have 74 men just sitting.
Not cowering.
No, not cowering, not screaming. They're eating, they're drinking, and they're looking at this pavement made of sapphire stone, as clear as the sky itself.
It's such a jarring contrast. You've got the consuming fire on the peak, but then right there, in God's presence, the elders are, they're having a dinner party, a sapphire banquet.
Welcome back to Timely Word. Today, we're digging into that weird juxtaposition because I think it speaks to a problem that's absolutely plaguing so many of us right now.
Religious exhaustion.
Yeah, you see it everywhere. The hustle culture burnout, the mental health crisis. People are exhausted. And I think a lot of people feel that exact same way toward God.
It's the performance trap.
Right. It's this feeling that the Bible is basically a cosmic employee handbook, a long list of do's and don'ts, and God is this high-pressure CEO waiting to write you up.
And that is such a heavy burden. It turns faith into a transaction. Your whole relationship is based on anxiety, not intimacy. No wonder people are tired.
And honestly, if you look at our reading today, Job chapter 37, it's easy to validate that fear. You have this character, Elihu.
Oh, Elihu, he's so eloquent.
Super eloquent, but he's basically shouting, listen to the thunder. God is majestic. He is terrible.
He represents that conventional religious wisdom, that noise.
Yeah.
He actually says he does not look upon any who are wise of heart. It's this picture of a distant, critical force of nature.
The ultimate boss who's just too big to care. But our mission today is to see if we can completely shatter that image. We're going to argue that God isn't a taskmaster. He is actually, a bachelor.
A bachelor.
I know it sounds a little irreverent, right? The Bachelor, Sinai edition. But you're arguing that those 10 commandments, they're not a penal code.
Not at all. They're an engagement contract.
That sounds radical. But when you strip away all the religious varnish, the romances, it's just undeniable.
So let's unpack that. How do we get from thou shalt not kill to will you marry me?
Yeah.
We have to start with God's perspective. For eternity past, God was, in a cosmic sense, alone, a bachelor. He didn't create man because he needed a workforce.
He's God. He could do it himself.
Exactly. He created man to be a counterpart. So when he brings Israel out of Egypt and to Mount Sinai, he's bringing them to a courtroom. He's bringing them to the wedding altar.
Okay, I can follow the metaphor. But then he hands them these tablets. Don't steal, don't kill, don't lie. I mean, that feels less like romance and more like house rules.
That's because we're reading them as modern Westerners. We see laws, they saw a covenant. In the ancient Orient, an engagement wasn't just sealed with a ring. It was sealed with an engagement paper.
So the stone tablets,
Yeah,
they were the engagement papers.
precisely. And just look at the language in Exodus 20. In those first 5 commandments, notice how God introduces himself. He doesn't say, I am the supreme ruler.
No, he says, I am Jehovah thy God.
Thy God.
That's personal. It's possessive.
It's incredibly intimate. And then he says, you shall have no other gods before me. Now, if a judge says that, it's a law. But if a husband says, I want no other men before me, what is that?
That's love. It's jealousy, but the romantic kind. The I want you all to myself kind of thing.
That's it. He's saying, I brought you out of slavery. I carried you on eagle's wings. Now I want to be your only one. When he says, don't make graven images, it's like a lover saying, hey, don't keep pictures of your exes in your wallet. Look at me.
That does flip the script. It changes the vibe from God is angry if I have a hobby to God is heartbroken if I don't see so. He's the best thing for me.
And here's where it gets really interesting linguistically. In Exodus 34, the Hebrew text doesn't actually use the word for commandments. It calls them the 10 words, the Asareth Hadabarim.
10 words. That's a strange distinction. Why does that matter?
Because words are organic. Words are breath. If I speak to you, I'm physically exhaling my breath toward you. God isn't just legislating from a distance. He's breathing on them.
He's breathing out who he is.
Yes. The law is a testimony. It's a self-portrait. Why does it say don't commit adultery? Because God is faithful. Don't lie, because God is truth. He's breathing his own nature into his people so they can match him.
So he's not saying follow these rules or else. He's saying this is who I am, and since we're getting married, this is who I want you to become.
Compatibility. That's the heart of it. And that brings us right back to that sapphire payment you mentioned, Exodus 24.
The dinner party on the mountain, this happens after the proposal, right?
Immediately after, the words are given, the covenant is accepted, the nobles go up, and it says they saw God and they ate and drank.
That really does sound like a wedding reception.
It is. The sapphire work under his feet symbolizes the heavens, clear, transparent, no clouds, no thunder at that moment, just the clarity of an intimate union.
Wow. That is such a beautiful, peaceful image. But there's always a but in this story, isn't there? Israel didn't exactly stay faithful. They went and built a golden calf while the ink was barely dry.
They cheated immediately. And that points to the fundamental problem of human effort. We have the beautiful engagement paper, but we can't keep our side of the deal, which takes us from Mount Sinai all the way to a crisis on another mountain in Mark chapter 9.
The Mount of Transfiguration, that's a huge jump, like 1,500 years later.
It is, but it's the solution to the Sinai problem. This is where we see the mistake of mixing agents.
Okay, set the scene. This is Jesus, Peter, James, and John.
Right. They go up a high mountain, and suddenly Jesus changes. He transfigures. The text says his clothes became dazzlingly white.
Whiter than any fuller on earth could bleach them. I love that detail.
It's like the writer is saying, look, we know about bleach. This was beyond that. It's uncreated light. But then, two other figures appear, Moses and Elijah.
The heavy hitters. Moses is the law, the engagement paper. Elijah is the prophets.
Correct. And they're talking with Jesus and Peter. Well, Peter being Peter. He has to fill the silence. He gets overwhelmed and just blurts out, Rabbi, it's good for us to be here. Let's make 3 tabernacles. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah.
It sounds respectful, doesn't it? He's honoring the guests. He's being inclusive. Why is this framed as such a massive mistake?
Because in the eyes of heaven, it's offensive. Peter was putting the engagement paper, which is Moses, and the prophecies Elijah, on the same level as the groom himself.
Oh, I see. It's like going to a wedding and setting up 3 chairs at the head table. One for the groom, one for the printed marriage license, and one for the wedding invitation.
That is a perfect analogy. You don't marry the paper. You don't marry the invitation. They just point to the person. Moses and Elijah were like the engagement photos of Christ.
But now the groom is standing right there.
And you don't need the photos anymore. And God shuts that down so fast.
Immediately.
A cloud overshadows them. A callback to Exodus, by the way. And the Father's voice booms. This is my son, the beloved. Hear him. Not hear them, just him.
Hear him.
And then the visual payoff. Mark says that when they looked around, they no longer saw anyone, but Jesus only.
Jesus only. That feels like the pivot point of everything right there. The law is gone, the prophets are gone, the groom is all that's left.
Exactly. The law was a tutor to bring us to Christ. But once Christ is here, the tutor is dismissed. We have the living person now.
But getting to that point of Jesus only, that's not easy. Peter struggle. We struggle. We kind of like our rules. It feels safer to have a checklist than a relationship.
It feels more controllable, for sure. If I have a list, I can check boxes. But that's why, before they even went up the mountain, Jesus had to teach them a very hard lesson about replacement. This is back in Mark chapter 8.
Right, this is where it gets really intense. Jesus tells them he has to die. And Peter pulls him aside and basically tells him off. No way, not happening.
And Jesus turns and says, get behind me, Satan.
I mean, that is harsh. 1 minute Peter's the star pupil, the next he's Satan. Why?
Jesus gives the reason. For you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of men.
The things of men. I usually think of that as, greed, lust, stuff like that. Peter was just trying to be a loyal friend. How is that the things of men?
Because the natural human concept is that the Messiah should be a hero who conquers. A success story. Peter wanted to preserve the good man. But God's concept is that the Messiah must die to be resurrected.
And you can't have a resurrection without a death.
You can't. And this leads to that famous, often misunderstood line, if anyone wants to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me.
Okay, let's pause right there. Take up your cross. We hear this all the time. Oh, my difficult boss is my cross to bear, or this traffic is my cross.
That's the conventional wisdom, but it's just not what it meant. In the first century, a cross meant one thing, not suffering, not inconvenience.
It meant termination.
It was a one-way trip to execution. You didn't come back from carrying a cross.
So Jesus isn't saying put up with a hard life. He's saying come here and die.
He's saying, come here and be replaced.
Replaced.
Think about it.
Yeah.
We can't keep the law. Our natural self is broken. God doesn't want to fix you. He doesn't want to send you to a self-help seminar. He wants to replace you with Christ.
So it's not self-improvement, it's self-replacement.
Right. Think of it like an old flip phone from 2004. The screen is cracked, the battery dies in 10 minutes, you don't try to fix it.
No, you upgrade. You toss the old one.
The cross is the recycling bin for the old phone. It deletes the old you. The resurrection brings in the new you, which is actually Christ living in you.
It is no longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me.
That's the verse. So when Moses and Elijah vanish, leaving Jesus only, it's a picture of what happens inside us. The rules can't help me. My own good intentions can't help me. They have to clear out so Jesus is the only thing operating.
Okay, so this brings us to the so what? How does this help the person listening who's stressed out and feeling guilty? Because frankly, dying and being replaced sounds pretty intense.
It sounds intense, but it's actually the ultimate relief. It moves the focus from doing to receiving.
Okay, so give us some practical steps. How do we do that?
First, we have to hear him, like the Father commanded. That means we stop listening to the noise of Elihu, that voice that says God is distant and angry, and we stop listening to the logic of Peter, that human sentiment that says we need to be heroes.
We silence the other voices.
Yes. And second, we go back to the 10 words. Remember, they're God's breath. When you read the Bible, don't just read it as a textbook. Read it like an inhaler.
An inhaler, I like that.
When you are spiritually short of breath, you're anxious, you're trying to survive on your own effort, stop. Open the Word and pray. Read it. Don't analyze it. Breathe it in. That breath replaces your anxiety with His peace.
So it's the Spirit applying what the Son accomplished.
That's it. The Father speaks, the Son replaces, the Spirit breathes. The whole triune God is in on this.
And that leads back to where we started, that sapphire pavement.
Yes. When you feel overwhelmed by the thunder of life, the demands, the news cycle, look down. In your spirit, there's a paved work of sapphire. It's clear. It's peaceful. You are seated at a table with God.
You're not in court. You're at the wedding feast.
You're betrothed to Him. And the best part, He's covering the bill. He kept the law for you, and now He's living that life through you. Your only job is to eat and drink and look at Him.
That is a massive relief. It takes all the pressure off.
It's the gospel. It's not a demand. It's a supply.
So to wrap this up, the Bible isn't a rule book. It's a romance novel.
Exactly. The law was the engagement ring. Christ is the husband. Don't fall in love with the ring and ignore the husband standing right in front of you.
And don't try to hang the engagement photos up next to the groom.
Right. Put the photos away. Just enjoy the person.
I want to leave all of you with a thought to chew on this week. We talked about Peter trying to build tents for Moses and Elijah. He wanted to keep the good things of the past right there alongside Jesus.
Such a common trap.
So ask yourself this. If God removed Moses and Elijah from that mountain so that only Jesus remained, what good things, what religious habits, traditions, or even your own best behavior are you still trying to keep on the mountain with Jesus?
What would happen if you let them vanish?
Yeah, what would happen if you let them disappear so you could finally see Jesus only? I have a feeling it would look a lot less like thunder and a lot more like sapphire.
Amen to that.
Thanks for diving in with us on this timely word. We'll see you next time.